fascinating Renaissance friends. Welcome back to this channel, My Season of Life with Miss Malu Cervantes, 60 years and beyond. Today, episode 120, is very special. Why, you may ask? Because this season, well, this episode, I mean, falls within the season of our 42nd anniversary together, my husband and I. Yeah, you heard it right. 42nd anniversary of being together. And looking back in this relationship, and I realize, that it has been 42 years of, 42 fulfilling years and happy years of being together. So, don't you think it's worth pausing to celebrate 42 years of being together? So, I was thinking, that we'll take a pause. No? We'll take a pause from the regular programming. What do I mean by that? I've started, the month of August, focusing on philosophy, not just a subject, not just an esoteric subject, but a very practical way of living the good life. And we will continue with that because I didn't realize that a lot of people have resonated with that and that they are, if not mildly surprised, they're actually surprised that philosophy could be what could be a practical way of living, the good life. We're getting back to that, but my plan is have the first this two to three or 3 to 4 episodes, just focusing on what makes a committed relationship really last. And that's where we will focus on. And I would really want to find out if our love story is unique, if we're doing something that is very uniquely ours, or is it really backed by research studies, or is backed by science? Okay, and so I will get results now from 5 current studies on what makes a relationship last for so long, and and I'm sure you're asking why still go and look at science. Why not just tell us, Miss Malu, what you've been doing? Maybe if we resonate with it, we'll just simply follow. Well, why science? Because love and a loving, lasting relationship is more than just passion and romance and falling in love and staying in love. It is also about patterns and behaviors. Because two human beings relating to each other, you will need solid science like psychology, like like several disciplines, and that's what I intend to do. Okay, so I looked at, to be very frank with you, 10 separate studies or researches on lasting relationships. The first 5 focuses on the builders, what I call builders, because these are the what these are the theories, the concepts, the techniques, the practices which actually build long lasting relationship. And then the next episode we're gonna take also the top 5 insights into the destroyers, okay, of lasting relationships. And then the next episode will try and come up with a composite picture, and that's where we will focus on. And in between, Okay, those builders, those destroyers, the composite picture that I call the principles, okay, called from all of these scientific studies, okay, I will definitely look at it from our own love story. Why it worked, why it almost destroyed, a beautiful, relationship, but they didn't because we did something. All right, so that's how I will do this next 3 to 4 episodes. Okay, my friends. All right, so let's dive in. Okay, the first, what we call it, builders of long-lasting relationships. So, builder number one, and let me read because I think they have beautifully, said it. Huh? So, builder number one, communication. Well, that's not a surprise, isn't it? It's communication, especially about intimacy. Okay, we'll unpack that. It says a 2023 meta analysis, okay, looked at thousands of couples and found something simple but profound. I told you that before. The simpler, the more profound. Couples who talk openly about their desires and needs, especially in intimacy, report both higher sexual satisfaction and higher overall relationship satisfaction. Okay, so it goes beyond intimacy and an overall satisfaction in the total relationship. And what is beautiful is it's not about frequency of communication. It's about what? It's about quality, clear, kind, specific conversations. No? Okay, let's put context into it. First, let's break down what intimacy is. Okay, for most people, the moment they hear the word intimacy, it almost always just rests on physical intimacy or sexual intimacy or what you do in bed together. Well, psychology begs to disagree, and I agree with him. Okay, because you can be intimate without really going into sex. Of course, sexual intimacy, is very very critical. But you can go to bed and have sex every night and still not be intimate. Okay, well, intimacy as a whole says that you bear your true self, your authentic self, to your partner. It could be an intimate conversation. Okay, if you share the same dreams and you talk about it, that's being intimate. If you're able to talk about awkward things and still love each other, you have seen each other really, grumble and complain, and yet they still tell you why. And they bare their souls knowing that they can be judged, and you may not want them anymore because you've seen the raw person, behind the persona or the image that they want to project. That's intimacy. Okay, so if you can do these things, okay, bare your soul and not be scared, that's being intimate. Okay, that's the first one. Second, let me tell you, okay, how this happens. Well, how it happened or still is happening in 42 years of being together. All right. Well, let's start first with the most sizzling part. Ha ha ha! I'm not going to tell you our sexual fantasies and secrets, okay? But let me tell you one thing, okay? I am open. I feel so safe with my husband. All right. He tells me what gives me pleasure. He asks me, okay, what I want him to continue doing so that I can continue to feel pleasure. And it's the same way with me. Like I tell him, that's this, that do you like this? Are you enjoying this? And things like that. And so we're open, like, yeah, I love it. I have this. giggles, and I have this, fantastic feeling if you do this, while we are in bed and things like that. And we would giggle, as we experiment with each other's body. And I realize that that's what this means, and at the same time, okay, if there are some issues or concerns that I know are very that I feel very sensitive about, that I can tell him. But of course, it will be a different way. Like I've been honest with you guys. We have raised a blended family because this is our second marriage for both of us. Because our first marriages ended in annulment. In the Philippines, there is no divorce law, but we have annulment. Okay, which means that we can still remarry. The marriage bonds are nullified, and we can still get married. And that's why this is our second marriage. And I have a stepson. He's only child from the first marriage, and I have two kids from my previous marriage, and we raised them up together. And so there are certain principles we follow, because I know it's a very sensitive issue. So if I feel very, very how do you call this, if I feel very very concerned about certain things that pertains to my stepson, I can tell him. But of course, it will be a different way of communicating, because I love him. I love my stepson, and it is not really to say anything negative, but I just want him to understand where I'm coming from, and he understands that, and he makes it right. Okay, that's how this builder number one has actually helped our marriage, and I agree. I definitely agree. All right, so um, the second builder, okay, second builder, let me just finish with the second builder. I realize it will take more than 3 episodes to finish this, because it's very, very important. So second builder is coping as a team, and says another large study on what is called dyadic coping. All right, it's really coping as a team. It's called dyadic. Dyads means pair. Okay, shows that couples who face stress together as a team are stronger. It's not your problem or my problem, it's our challenge. Okay, when stress comes, and it will always come because this is life on planet Earth, a health issue, a work crisis, a family matter, lasting couples shift from me to we. They coordinate, they support, they stand side by side. It's really facing the storms together. And very quickly, this happened last March 2005. What's that? That's '05, 10, that's 2015, plus that's 25 years ago, love ko. Oh my goodness, it's 25 years ago. We faced a very major health scare. He was hospitalized for one straight month for bacterial meningitis. One entire month in the hospital. And I was there with him. And the doctors were actually telling me, be prepared to be a widow. Can you imagine that? After having the house built, we just moved in into our new home late 2004, and 2 or 3 months after that, I'll be losing my husband who built this house for me. But that one, well, it's really very scary, but we were able to transcend that, and that particular scary health issue has actually cemented not only our relationship, our love for each other, but it's actually leapfrogged our faith, our deep faith in the Almighty, because it's truly a miracle. Everybody's saying, he should have been to ICU. He should have what? He should have experienced a short-term, long-term memory loss, and in the worst, because of the shunting, which did not happen, by the way. Okay, could have done that, but this is a second lease on life, and we're stronger as ever. I will never forget those 1 month. Okay, and we were there together for each other. Okay, so builder number two, shared coping, is facing life storms hand in hand. Okay, so okay, I don't want to rush, the rest of the builders, but just to say, we're still going strong, and I know deep in my heart, and I told him that at the end of our life here on earth, it is all worth it, no regrets whatsoever. Okay, until then, my fascinating Renaissance friends, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, My Season of Life, and together we're going to navigate the autumn of our life. And until then, goodbye.